Hi, I'm David, and I'm from Canada E-Juice. Today, I'm going to show you everything you need and how to build an RDA, or your coils, for single and dual coil units. Today, we're going to be building on our indestructible RDA. Okay, that's what it looks like when you take off the cap. It's got hex screws for the positive post and Phillips for the two negatives. Okay, and a nice deep dish down there. It's also got a series of holes that you can have either all open or all closed with the washer. You can look online at www.canadaejuice.com and go through all of our stock, and it has directions on everything on how it works. Today we're going to show you just typically on what you need and how to build for the RDA. First of all, you're going to need pliers. Okay, I use jeweler pliers, and I also have another set on hand. We will be dealing with hot metal here. It's good to have something to grab instead of your fingers. And I use a little screwdriver here to coax the the cotton in once you coil it. I build on my old Subox from Kangertech, because it will tell me the ohms reading, and it will also tell me if I have a short before I put it on my Shark sub-ohm V2. Now we're going to use, most importantly, organic cotton. Cannot use cotton balls. This is not chemically treated or dyed or pigmented. It's from Japan. Okay? Very important, you cannot use cotton balls. They are bleached. Not gonna work. You have to use wire, Kenthal A1 resistance wire. Now this is obviously for your health, and we have different gauges. They come in 30 feet spools, $13 to $12. We sell them in feet or yards. We also sell ceramic tip tweezers. Okay, ceramic not being a conductor of electricity or heat. And then of course we have something to be a wire cutter, which I like to use nail clippers, gets in close to the posts. Obviously scissors. And finally, our weapon of choice. Some people like to use a small screwdriver like this. Some people like to use a drill bit so it's consistent. But the circumference of the wrap you make and the amount of times you go around the thing you're wrapping around is going to determine the ohms or the resistance of your device, of your coil. So what I suggest for our first timers is going to the hardware store and getting toggle bolts. Okay, they're 3" by, let me get, it's 1/8 by 3". Okay, so it's 1/8 in the diameter, but it's very close threaded. So the wire which we're using today, we're going to use 24 gauge wire, which is the thickest I would go. I would suggest starting off with 26, guys. And you can see that the wire is pretty thin, and it goes right into the grooves of the screw. So if you just follow the threads of the screw, you have a perfectly wrapped coil, which I will show you how to do right now. So you're going to take your wire, thumbnail facing you, leaving approximately an inch, and an inch this way and an inch this way. And you're going to bend this part over, now holding tight here, bending this over, and following it carefully into the grooves of the screw without missing any, like without skipping over any, and keeping it tight. And remember, guys, just it does take a little bit of patience and a little bit of diligence, but with patience and practice, you get a perfect coil every time, guys. And so once you get it wrapped around about 3 times, you don't have to worry so much about holding the lead, the end piece here. But you'll notice sometimes that it'll slip out of your fingers and become smaller. So what you can do is you can just take this bottom and fold it up to make you have more of a lead. That just reduced your amount of wraps around though, so you do still have quite a bit left to continue your wrapping around. Now I like to wrap around 7 to 8 times. The fewer wraps will make give you a lower ohms reading, which is higher heat. And I'm not a big fan of the huge clouds. If you are, you're going to want to go with a very small circumference device to wrap around, and the fewest wraps I would do, guys, is 4. That gives me, usually with 26 gauge, if I do 4 to 5 wraps, it'll give me like even a 0.3. So if you see now, if you did this correctly, it'll be around there so tight you literally have to unscrew the screw off of the device. Okay? So there you got a perfect coil every time. One end being your positive and one end being your negative, right? And then you can see how you have the 2 screws, so you have positive, positive, negative, negative. Okay? So you complete that a second time, and then I'll get to showing you how to install and wick the device. Okay guys, so now we have our 1, 2 coils, okay? And if you, like I said before, cut a 4-inch piece and did the same amount of wraps, you can match them up together and see that they're both the same size, which is important. You want it to be even heat on both sides, obviously. So next we need to get our cotton out. Now this is important, guys. I'm going to show you how much to cut. You're going to be surprised with the amount you need. It's very little. You're going to cut about, I would say, you could judge it as half a cigarette, but you're going to need 2. So keep it as straight as possible, because obviously as straight as this one's going to be is going to determine the rest of your cotton cuts. Okay, so you see how thin that little piece is. That's 1 coil. Continue again. It's good to use sharp scissors. I use barber scissors. They tend to be nice and super sharp. This cotton is super soft, and it's very important, I didn't mention, to cut on the long side. Don't try to cheap out and maximize by cutting on the short side. The threads are made to run lengthwise, and while you're pulling this through your coil, if you were to cut it on the short side, it would all just fall apart and it wouldn't work. Okay guys? So that's something very important to remember, okay? So now we have our cotton, and we've seen everything we need. I'm going to show you how to put in your coil, okay? Now this is where it gets tricky for me to videotape doing this, so I'm going to just zoom in on it and get it so you guys can see this. It's a bit better. Okay. So you're going to just want to have one end into, I'll do this end here. This is a negative, and on top the 1 hex is positive. So you have one end where the Phillips is and one end where the hex is, ensuring that this part of your coil is not touching any of this afterwards. Okay guys? Now note that you can bend and shape this after you have installed and tighten down the Phillips screw. So what I like to do is start by just making sure the Phillips screw side's in, adjust like in formation before I tighten it, and then I tighten it and go ahead and bend it slightly so that I can take the hex screw and bring it up, as you can see, guys, if you look closely. So I've got the one end in here, and then I'm taking the other end. Isn't connected. See this end right here where my finger is? Yeah, so that end is going to get tightened now. Okay, so that will make one end negative now, and as I screw this one in, we'll have one coil complete and ready. And now it's not perfectly horizontal right now, it's on an angle, but this is why we have the ceramic tip tweezers, okay, because we're going to be able to take that and move it around. But that's roughly what you're going to look like, what you're going to be looking at in the beginning. And again, I'll show you, you can take your tweezers. Sorry, I can't do this on camera, guys. I need to see this. And then, see, just a simple pinch. A simple pinch and twist. Got the coil nice and flat. Alright, now you're going to complete this on the other side. Now, you're going to have little leads sticking out there. This is where you take your trusty nail clippers and clip off those ends. Okay, guys? So do this on the other side, and then we'll get to wicking it. Okay, guys? We got both coils there, one on either side. And we've got a reading of, let's see, can you guys see that? Okay, we can't see it, but it's 0.3, so let's get to showing you how to wick this, and then you need to saturate it with juice, and then we can get our vape on. So, again, I'll zoom in for you guys. You're going to take one end, okay? With your both fingers moistened, you're going to spiral that end into the tiniest tip you can possibly make it into. And you're going to simply just put it through the coil till it comes to the other side. Now, the trick is fast little jolt, okay? See that? It's even. And that bit on the end that we spiraled, since we had it on our dirty fingers, we're going to cut that off because we don't want that flavor in our vapor. Continue on the other side. I'll quickly do that. This is why it's important to follow the directions in how wide to cut the cotton, because when it comes to this part, this is where getting it through the coil is where it's hard. So it looks pretty ugly right now, right, guys? But this is where I talked about this little bad boy, the screwdriver. He gets the cotton in nicely. So you're going to want one end to tuck under and stay under in that side, and just fold it in, tuck it in. Take the other end, do the same thing on the other side, folding it under, tucking it around and under, all underneath. And you don't want to pack it in there too tight, guys, but just so it's like housed in there. Now take the other side, do the exact same thing. I might make this look a little bit easier. Your first time might be a little harder, but I'm just wanting to get this video under half an hour and show you everything you need to know on how to do this safely. Now, very important, guys. Do you see how my coils are almost at the edge? Almost at the edge? Well, that's important, because if that touches this inside edge, like the outer edge, then that's a short. That's going to be grounding it, and so it's not good. So what you just do is you want to take your tweezers and gently just push it in a little bit. Okay, push it in a little bit, or you can lift it up or down. I like having one up and one high and one low. Okay, so now you're left with something that looks like that. Okay, guys, and now you're going to take your juice of choice, which mine is Jolly Rancher grape, and you're going to take your juice and you're going to, it helps if you touch the tip of it to the cotton as you're pushing it onto the end of the nozzle, and you're going to saturate the cotton all over, and you're going to watch it quite quickly if it gets sucked up. Like the other side looks like I haven't even put anything in, but it was full a second ago. So we're just going to want to ensure that it's fully well supplied with juice before we do any firing, which means turning this puppy on, which I won't be doing from this device anyway. This is just what I build on. It'll be going on my Shark V2 Hexome, which, guys, is a very great device. I recommend it to anyone. It has a lifetime warranty. The back end, it's such a smart device. It doesn't have any clips on it. It's all magnetic. It's very cool. Houses 2 batteries in there. No digitals on it. It's just you stick your fingernail in there. I have it set at 0. That's how powerful this device is. And this is a zombie splatter. Blood splatter. I don't know if you can see it that well on this, guys. But it also comes with, available is a Lush matching drip tip. I use that for other stuff though, so that's why I built on this for you guys. So now you're going to take your device and let it soak, and we'll come back in 10 minutes. No less than 10 minutes, guys. Let it soak. Okay, guys, we're back here, and we've let it soak for 10 minutes, which is very important. And let's press it and see what happens. Oh yeah. And again, guys, that's at 0, even below 0. So let's put the lid on. And you have so many choices. There's holes all over this thing, and inside, when you read about it, you'll see why I built on it today, and I'm recommending it to anybody. Let's see what vapor this gets. Get your vape on, guys. Canada E-Juice. It's the best way to do it.